The 31st of October 2008, a cryptography mailing list, a 9-page white paper appears online, titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Its author signs it only as Satoshi Nakamoto. No photograph, no resume, no verifiable identity. 2 months later, on the 3rd of January 2009, Nakamoto mines the first block of the Bitcoin network by hand. Embedded in that block is a single line of text, lifted from that day's edition of the Times of London, referencing a chancellor on the brink of a second bailout for banks. It reads like a message, not an accident. Over the next 2 years, Nakamoto works constantly. Emails, forum posts, code commits, all time-stamped, all analyzed later for clues. Researchers notice the writing shifts between American and British spelling. They notice the posting hours cluster in patterns that suggest someone working late at night in the Americas, or early morning somewhere else entirely. Nakamoto corresponds directly with early developers, among them Hal Finney, a cryptographer who becomes the first person besides Nakamoto to run the software, and who receives the first Bitcoin transaction ever sent. Then, gradually, the messages slow. By late 2010, Nakamoto hands control of the project's source code repository to developer Gavin Andresen. In April 2011, Nakamoto sends a final known email. It says only that he has moved on to other things. After that, silence. No further code, no further posts, no further contact from an identity that had spoken almost daily for 2 years. What Nakamoto leaves behind is a wallet believed to hold around 1 million Bitcoin mined in the earliest days of the network. At the currency's peak value, that wallet is worth tens of billions of dollars. It has never once moved. The search for Nakamoto's real identity becomes its own strange industry. Journalists chase leads across 3 continents. In 2014, Newsweek publishes a cover story naming a California engineer named Dorian Nakamoto as the founder, based on his name and his background in classified defense work. He denies it immediately, in front of reporters camped outside his home. The magazine's case falls apart under scrutiny. Other names surface over the years. Hal Finney, because of his early correspondence and his physical proximity to a man named Dorian Nakamoto in the same California neighborhood. Nick Szabo, a computer scientist who had designed a similar digital currency years earlier, and whose writing style researchers find strikingly close to Nakamoto's own. Both men deny it. Finney, diagnosed with a degenerative disease, dies in 2014, still publicly denying he was Nakamoto. Then, in 2016, an Australian computer scientist named Craig Wright steps forward and claims publicly and repeatedly that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. He shows selected technical demonstrations to journalists and industry figures. Some are initially convinced. Others find the evidence inconsistent, even fabricated. Wright spends the next several years in courtrooms, suing critics who call him a fraud and pursuing legal ownership of the Bitcoin name and code. In March 2024, a United Kingdom court delivers its ruling after examining the evidence in detail. The judge finds that Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto, and that key documents he presented had been forged. Wright is later held in contempt of court for continuing to press the claim. With Wright's case collapsed, no other identification has held up to scrutiny. Blockchain analysts continue to study the earliest transactions, hoping a single mistake, a reused address, a linked wallet, might someday expose the person behind them. So far, nothing has. The mailing list posts remain online, dissected line by anyone who wants to try. The Genesis block still carries its one line about a bailout, permanently recorded on a ledger now maintained by millions of computers around the world. And the wallet, holding a fortune that has only grown larger with time, has still never sent a single coin.